Hello and welcome to Radio Free Nintendo. It is November 27th, 2025, and this is episode 954. I am James Jones. I'm joined today by Mr. Jon Lindemann.
It's great to be here, James.
Mr. Guillaume Vayette.
Hello.
And Mr. Greg Leahy.
No, hoy hoy, everyone.
This is our recorded on Thanksgiving episode. U.S. Thanksgiving, because that's a Thursday. It's the weird Thursday holiday. But, hey, we're good to record today. So, we promised you 2 weeks ago that we were going to come up with a retroactive. We took last week and said we would show it for a little bit because we all forgot that Greg was going to be out. So we have discussed that, and we are going to be playing for our next retroactive. What you will find out in the second segment, it's a teaser. We have settled on a game. We'll talk about the second segment because we need to talk a little bit about what our timeline is, and we don't have that sorted. I realized as I was winding up to do the intro, and I went, shit. But yeah, we will undo that in the second segment. But first, we're going to do some new business, and I talked a lot last week, and so I am going to let Guillaume start us off.
Yeah, sure. So I've played touch on a lot of things since last week. Well, actually, over the past couple of weeks. I have played a few hours of Ball Pit because that game was available on the Game Pass service, and honestly, I didn't really understand why people were excited for when I saw the trailer for Ball Pit. And now that I played it, I really don't get it.
Nice.
So, Ball Pit kind of looks like it should be, kind of a breakout Arkanoid roguelike. And that's kind of what it seems like. There are some similarities, I guess, in that the enemies that come at you all look blockish, and so you shoot, bouncing balls at them. And the hook in this is that, as you kill enemies, you level up your balls, you upgrade your character, and you can gain perks just like in a game of, like Vampire Survivors or something. You choose like, okay, I'm going to make this, I'm going to get a fireball and I'm going to upgrade it. You can have up to 4 special balls, and you can also get up to 4 perks like, maybe a better critical chance when the ball hit the enemies from the back or the left side or the right side, or something more interesting than that. Faster balls, or, a bigger rate of fire for your baby balls, which are not...
I can't. I'm just trying not to laugh so hard.
So, yeah, they don't have special effects. They don't freeze. They don't burn. They don't, you've got balls that deal bleeding damage, or like a vampire ball that can give you some health when it hits an enemy. All of that stuff. And you've got the baby balls that just are basically bullets. And so, yeah, as you level up, you upgrade your various powers, and eventually you can maybe combine some of those powers, and so you combine the vampire ball with the fire vampire ball, and sometimes like it's got a cool name to it. Like I think that if you've got like the dirt ball and the wind one, I'm gonna try to avoid ball, but it's hard because this is what the game is. You get the sandstorm or something. And so that's got a cool name. But most of the time, it's just a combination that's going to be, you've got the mud plus ice ball. It's not, we didn't come up with anything clever for this. It's not icy mud or anything. It's just this plus that. That's what you get. And so you combine the 2 effects in one. And so, of course, that frees one of the slots that you have for your 4 special shots, to get a new one, and then maybe you'll be able to combine that new power with another one, or maybe like you'll be able to upgrade one of those combinations like 3 times, and then like that's supposed to be great, I guess. The problem here is that the enemies are usually damage sponges. It takes a while to feel like you're actually like that you're being effective at all in combat. And the other problem is that this is not a breakout clone at all. Like, you're not trying to catch the balls and bounce them back up as they come back to you. It's just that you shoot bullets at the enemy, and your bullets will bounce across the arena that's kind of shaped like, an Arkanoid level. That's about it. Like you have to deal with like the angle of your shot. You're trying to, I guess, like maximize how many enemies you're going to hit that way. But that's about it. Like it feels more like you're playing a weird, bad twin stick shooter than it does playing an Arkanoid, a take on Arkanoid, because the enemies are such damage sponges, and then when you fight the bosses, they're really damage sponges. It really feels like you're not really that effective ever, or not really doing anything. And so it's kind of it's not fun to play. Like, I rarely feel empowered, except when I get, I guess, a really good combination of powers, but that's usually kind of luck, because I had to choose from the perks that the game gave me. Maybe I could have re-rolled and tried to get something better, but like at this point, I'm still not sure like what makes a good combination. When I do get a successful one, usually I don't remember what it was, or maybe like it won't be as effective on the next group of enemies or the next level. So I'm not really sure what I'm building towards. Like, it's not even the feeling of a Vampire Survivor where you learn combinations of something that really works and you see the effect, and like you feel like, aha, like this unlocks everything. And now I can go make myself a sandwich and not even touch the controller. My character is so powerful, like the game is playing itself basically, and like there's some satisfaction in that. But in Ball Pit, I don't get that satisfaction, and I don't get the satisfaction of I'm playing a really good game of Breakout right now. So yeah, I don't get it. Some people are really into also like it's got this other mechanic where when you die, you go to this level where there's some sort of city builder where you can put down buildings that you unlock as you play through the game. You get schematics anyway, so you can build buildings. But to build the buildings, you need to play a kind of a very short, like basically like for 20 seconds, you're going to launch your character across your town, and every time that he bounces on a resource like a rock or a forest, he's gonna chop that forest. He's gonna get some wood. He's gonna get some rocks. If he goes through a field, he's gonna get some wheat. And if he hits a building, he's gonna do like basically like he needs to hit it 4 times to actually build the building. So you're gonna have to bounce the character off the building 4 times if you want to complete it. Sometimes that's going to take, more than one, more than one of those interstitial moments. And yeah, like, so that's just like additional grind. It feels like, and I'm not really feeling that either. And I think that the bigger sin of the city building is that the buildings and the tiles are not cute. They don't do it for me at all. I look at this art and I'm like, this kind of looks like shit. I don't I don't like this. I'm not getting that like Command and Conquer little, like science building or whatever, or StarCraft, or like even like ActRaiser. Like I really like those towns in those games, or those bases in those games, but in this game, I'm like, this looks like nothing. I don't like this. So yeah, this was me shitting for about 8 minutes on a Ball Pit, a game I will probably never play again.
Nice.
Yeah. So very quickly, this one, another Taito arcade game that Karen and I played. Have you ever heard of Cadash?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I didn't know if it was a classic or not. It was not really something I was familiar with.
I'd say it's about as classic as Rygar is what I would say.
I wouldn't even go that far.
Yeah, you're right. I probably wouldn't even go that far.
Well,
I mean, it's an arcade game. Then eventually it got ported to the home stuff.
Yeah, would you think maybe Black Tiger would be a better comparison? Something like that?
Yeah, but Black Tiger at least has the Capcom pedigree with it.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, this is
like one of those brawlers or like 2D. It's purely on a 2D, side-scrolling plane. It's not like I just said brawler, but it's not, a bell scroller where you can go up and down.
It's like a platformer in how the screen is laid out.
Yeah, but it is a co-op platformer and one that has very basic RPG elements. So you go through these, the king gives you a quest. The princess has been kidnapped. Can you imagine? And so you choose between like a fighter, a ninja, a priest, and a mage. I was the mage. That was a poor choice. He sucked. Karen was the ninja. He seemed to be a little bit better. And so like you go off on your adventure. You need to go find this and that item to breathe underwater, to like there are these little quests to solve. You go to a gnome village at some point. Some of the writing is kind of funny. Like they ask you to find you need some type of flower to do something or another. I don't even remember, but they tell you, like one of the villagers tell you like, oh, there's like a pedant in the down and left, anyway, like in that other area that knows all about this flower. It's like a pedant. What a weird thing to include in an arcade game. And then you go talk to the guy, and in fact, he does talk very pedantically. He's a pedant. There's no other word for it. So yeah, like it's a kind of it has its charms, but at the same time, it is an arcade game that tries to steal your quarters. This arcade version, like I know that this was ported on the TG16 and on the Genesis, but yeah, and they removed like the time limit and everything. But in this arcade incarnation, like you've got a time limit, and so you need to spend your in-game gold to increase your timer, or you gotta add some quarters to keep playing. And so the game is very unfair. Like there's a lot of places where the enemies will hit you and you can't really avoid them. And so you need to spend your in-game gold to regain your health, or spend some quarters. So you can see how that goes. Karen and I took, 3-4 hours maybe to get through it, which is pretty long. Like, but the part of the problem is that we, used a save state, and we came back to it like a few days later, and then we were completely lost. We didn't know where we're supposed to go next. Also, there are a few things that we messed up. Like there's like this lady that we were trying to save from this lake monster or something, and we kill the boss. We see her, like she's tied up to this post, and we just leave her there. Like we tried like hitting up and down, like, you can enter up or talk to people by pressing up. It didn't seem to work on her. So we just like went on our way. And then like we realized much later, that, oh, she was the one who gave us the item to breathe underwater that we needed to get further into the game. So we had to travel back all the way. Anyway, it was a big mess. I'm not sure if I would really recommend it unless you already bought the Taito Milestones 3 collection. Then sure, check it out. One slightly funny thing about it, this is the arcade game. I looked up a game fact about it, like a walkthrough, and they used a different... They fixed the translation in the Genesis version. In the arcade version, at the end, when you do save the princess, she tells you very gratefully, "Thank you for the important thing," and then roll credits. And it's like, okay, thanks, anime princess.
Truer words never spoken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's still true. It's just vague.
She's very cagey, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe she's not even thanking you for what you've done in the game. Maybe the two of you had some other thing in the past before the game. You don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge sort of thing.
Thanks for the thing.
That thing, you know?
That thing?
Thanks for that thing. Oh, man.
At least we have a title already.
Oh, boy.
On Thanksgiving, no less.
Thangsgiving.
Jesus Christ!
Are you done?
No, because John's still here.
I'm done. I'm
okay,
done for the moment.
Right.
So in the Genesis version, she says, "You have done a great thing. Thank you." Of course, the great thing was to, save her, but also, I guess, save the kingdom. But yeah, whatever. Anyway, and finally, the main game that I want to talk about is I finished Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. That was a really good RPG. That was really, really good. And if and when, I have to assume it's coming to Switch 2 at some point. But yeah, when it comes to Switch 2, I might actually play through it again, because I think I might need to. So, yeah, I really enjoyed everything about it. Like, the game is super pretty. It took me a while to get used to the visuals, because they're so unlike what we usually see in video games. Like, everything is kind of like shimmery, but not in a Xbox 360 kind of way. But like there's a lot of kind of surreal things happening. Of course, there are flying fish. That's kind of the go-to I don't know, kind of unoriginal surreal thing. But there's also a lot of stuff that's a little bit more original than that. The environments are always like huge or just like oppressive or foreboding or just super beautiful. The combat I really enjoyed, like I really can't believe that I enjoyed a game with like the timed action element as much as I did, but they really managed to pull it off really well here. It's always like, you always get the feeling that, okay, if I just stick with it a little bit more, if I can get the timing just right, I can turn this battle around. And thankfully, the game lets you just restart, redo a battle over and over again if you die. Or you can just say, okay, like I'm not going to redo it, and then it saves before every battle, basically, so like you never lose that much progress, and so you feel you do want to keep trying, when you feel like you could eke out a victory, and it just feels satisfying when you do, because like when you hit the parry button every time that they try to hit you, and then like you do an automatic counter attack, like it feels just as great as it does when you do what do they call those in Persona again, an all-out attack or something. Like, it's basically that same feeling, like, oh, okay, you had your shot, now it's our turn, and, we're beating you up like you won't believe. The story, I am surprised just how effective it was. I'm not one to be that impressed by stories in games all that often, but it stuck the landing, I found, and even though, like, initially you start playing the story, you start playing the game and nothing quite makes sense. Because, again, like, you're playing, like, this weird, surreal world. You're not sure, like, what is possible and what isn't, and what things, they talk about Pictos and Nevrons and stuff like that, and you're, like, completely lost. Like, what the fuck are you babbling about? But eventually, like, it all comes together and you understand what's going on. And it's, like this light just turns on in your head. It's like, okay, finally, everything makes sense. And it's kind of, like you've got constantly these revelations that recontextualize everything that you thought you knew so far, which is kind of an amazing thing for a long RPG to pull off. It's kind of a staple of RPGs, like there's always some sort of twist, like I'm thinking of games like, various Final Fantasies, but also, I don't know, like Tales of, what's the one on the GameCube again? Tales of, the Tales of game. Symphonia, yeah. Where, there's kind of again, like a swerve at a certain point. And,
Genocide is the swerve, by the way.
Yeah. So, I'm not saying expect genocide, but...
What about a second genocide? Because that's the second swerve in that game. That game has 2 genocides.
Right. But yeah, like, things that you thought you knew about the game's world turned out to be completely wrong. And then, you have to shift your perspective a little bit. So this game does that very, very well. And... So when Soren was here and I first talked about playing this game, we hinted at, something that she didn't like about the story, and what she said was true. Like, I'm not going to repeat because it was a spoiler, but I'm not saying that what she said is not in the game, because it is, but I did find that it was not a focus of, it was not a particularly insisted on plot point. Like, there was more going on around it, but that doesn't erase it. Like, it's still a shitty thing, but I can understand why most people, like, it didn't even register that it was there, because that was not the main point of the game or of that scene even. But yeah, like, it's it really deals with its themes well. The main theme, of course, like, you might be surprised to hear that a game about, like, where the story is that every year, like, a whole part of the population of this city is wiped out, due to their age, and, like, the countdown keeps going down, like the 60-year-olds and then the 47s, and like, now they're down to 33 basically. The main theme is grief, but it's kind of woven into the narrative in multiple ways, and in many surprising ways, and so, like, I was really, I couldn't be happier with the way basically that the story unfolded, and yeah, so all this to say, like, what a fucking great game. But because of this, as I mentioned earlier, this kind of, this new info kind of changes everything I thought I knew about the game thing going on, I might need to replay it to fully understand what the hell happened, actually. Because there are details that, in hindsight, details about, like, the characters, or, like, certain things that happened in the game that I wish I had, like, noted down somewhere, just to keep in my head, like, what the relationship was between this person and that person, because that keeps changing on you constantly. But again, in a good way.
You need like a relationship diagram like the Xenoblade games have.
Yeah. It wouldn't be out of... I wish that the game kind of took care of that. Like, I wish that there was more... Actually, there is, like, a kind of an encyclopedia thing that maybe I can... I don't know what kind of info they have in it, but, like, there's some sort of compendium. Maybe it does have, like, the Cliff's Notes that I could refer to. I need to check that. But, like, when this game comes out on Switch 2 eventually, like, I might just replay it, because it was... Yeah.
Oh.
That
Okay.
good. So, yeah.
Fair.
How long is it? Yeah.
I thought I would look that up, and then I didn't. But it's not a huge.
I think
not a
I've
short
heard, like,
game.
in the 30s range.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm
Does that
actually
feel
on
about right?
how long to beat right now. So it says 28 and a half hours for the main story.
Okay.
44 and a half hours for the extra and main story. I think I'm closer, to 4 to 5 hours, because there is no post game, but basically after Act 2 of the game, you can go straight to the final boss, or you can do all sorts of, these side quests that prep you better for the final fight, except that they really seem to have been meant to be completed after you clear the story. Because I went and did most of the side stuff, and then I went to beat the final boss, and it was like 2 hits. It was not, even close to being a challenging fight. Like, it was the easiest fight I had in, the last 15 hours that I played. So the final boss is really meant for, I think, for you to just go straight to it after you as soon as you can. But you can also do what I did and do the side quests first. But if you do go straight to the end boss, I think that you might want to. I think that the game lets you, start. It lets you, play again. It's not going to be after you beat the last boss, but it's going to take you back to just before, and so then you can go and do all the rest of the stuff. And the game does have, 2 different endings, so maybe. Like, that's what you might want to choose to do, go be the boss, and then go back to the game, do all the side stuff, then go back and go see the other ending that you had missed. Anyway, whatever. It's 30 to 45 hour game.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. John, did you have anything you want to talk about?
No, I don't have a lot. I could talk a little bit about how disappointed I am with Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales.
Sure.
There's really not a whole lot out there. I looked at the Nintendo sales, and there really wasn't a whole lot there that I wanted. Of course, as a lot of people saw it today, Metroid Prime 4 just downloaded onto everybody's Switches. So that's coming up on the 4th. Already tried to play it, can't do it. But it's there. It's downloaded. But I didn't really see, there was only maybe about 30 or 40 games in Nintendo's Black Friday sale, and there wasn't really much there that really interested me. At least in their cyber deals area. I don't know if they're going to add any more. But,
well, I personally, I did get a copy of Echoes of Wisdom, which, it's the first sale. It's the first time that this Zelda game is on sale, so.
Yeah, so I already have that. So that's probably something I would have picked up.
There is stuff. It's just a lot of it is stuff that we as people who are on a Nintendo podcast basically already have.
Yeah, most of it. So that was disappointing, and also usually, James and I typically every Black Friday, Cyber Monday sort of thing, we stock up on subscription services and stuff like that, and those deals are just not out there that I'm seeing.
They aren't.
Yeah, usually, at least, with PlayStation Plus, usually the only deal that's out there is only if you upgrade. So for premium, for example, it's only if you upgrade. If you're an existing subscriber, forget it. So yeah, it's not great. But yeah, I haven't really seen a whole lot. Of course, on Amazon, there's a lot of deals on physical stuff, but yeah, and I've gotten a few things off of PlayStation, but nothing really major. Probably the biggest thing I picked up was Doom: The Dark Ages. That was 50% off. So, but yeah, aside from that, it's just been a bunch of small things here and there.
Yeah, I have to decide. I've got Game Pass for another 7 months. I have to decide if I want to re-up just to get to the end of the year, or if I'm just done. Honestly, I don't use it enough.
Yeah, I don't use it enough. I'm done. I'm going to let mine expire.
Yeah.
So
make sure you've got it set to not auto renew though.
Yeah, I have it set to not auto renew. I know that's the thing right now. It's really high stakes because it's hey, if it auto renews, that's $160 or something. That's how much PlayStation Premium is, which is absurd. But at least I do get use out of it. That's how I justify it. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing. Not even really deals on any gaming books I'm looking for or anything like that. Even though I should check to see, they released that Metroid Prime 4 art book, which looks really, really sweet. I should see if there's a Black Friday deal on that, but I don't think there is. But I've had my eye on that. But yeah, aside from that, kind of just playing the usual. But of course, like I said, Metroid Prime 4 is on deck. So I'll be talking more about that next week for sure, assuming the dates line up.
They will not, I don't think.
Well, I think it'll be. I'll probably have a little bit of time on it because I'm assuming it'll unlock here on the 3rd at 9 a.m. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you might get some time with it.
Yep, I'll get some time. But that's it.
Fair enough. Greg, what about you?
Sure, yeah, last couple of weeks, I've advanced somewhat on Age of Imprisonment. Obviously, you spoke about that last week, James. I doubt I was that far in advance of where you were when you were speaking about it last week. Is kind of where I left off with it. So yeah, I wouldn't say there's terribly much to add. Basically, yeah, Kirby Air Riders came out, and I kind of felt like, that was, reading the reviews, seemed like it addressed some of the concerns I had in terms of especially the road trip mode. Seemed like it had a bit of actual value in there. And of course, with a multiplayer kind of focus game like this, in some ways there's never going to be a better time to play it than the start, where you feel like there's going to be a lot of players using it all at once, and all that. It should be the easiest to get a game and all that kind of thing. So yeah, kind of adjourned from Age of Imprisonment there. And as I said when I spoke about it the first time, with a Warriors game, I don't think there's anything any particular drawback from staggering it a bit, breaking it up a bit, playing it over a longer period of time, because it's quite. I like those games. I've played enough of them at this point, and certainly with Age of Imprisonment, I think the biggest thing about it is just with the performance and everything being at a level that we haven't really seen from these Muso games on Switch and Wii U and all that over the past, it feels the best. I'd be surprised if I ended up liking it more than Fire Emblem Warriors on Switch overall. I thought that was probably, the best one that I've played, and
it had ideas.
This might not. Well, it was a bit, again, because that was more of a kind of, all right, we're just going to borrow bits of various Fire Emblems. Like, it wasn't trying to tie itself down to like a single game in a series and all that. It could, kind of have fun with some different stuff, but also kind of do some things of its own, and just the way the minor things, but just little elements of like actual Fire Emblem, kind of battles in terms of ordering people about and capturing stuff, like had more of an emphasis in it. It's like, yeah, you can still order people about in Age of Imprisonment, right? And obviously you have to capture particular bases, little zones or whatever, but it's not emphasised in the same way, at least to the extent I remember it. I mean, the original Fire Emblem Warriors was really quite a long time ago now, so my functional kind of recall of it is not the best, but I've been enjoying Age of Imprisonment, and I'm sure I will enjoy it more when I get back to it. But for now, been playing Kirby Air Riders quite a lot over the past week, and once I kind of got onto it, I obviously, I did try and play various stuff online while the going's good, perhaps. And some of the concerns I mentioned about the test ride or whatever do play out somewhat differently now with the final game, from the point of view that obviously, you've still got the City Trial is a big deal, it's one of the main kind of modes that people are probably going to be playing. But you have got, obviously, the regular air ride mode is there, the top ride mode is there. But I guess the biggest thing here is just that, in practice now, playing it, it's like, it's relatively easy to kind of see, with the paddocks, like people are kind of making paddocks that aren't private, and it's just kind of pretty easy, at least at this stage, to go into one of those that's got a whole bunch of players in there, and people are just kind of making various different games within that paddock. So it's kind of like, okay, you know, someone has started a city trial game, you play that for a bit, and then when you come back out of that, you come and say, oh, well, someone's started a race, or someone started a stadium event, like playing one of the bosses from like the single player mode. Like that was the first time I thought the Nightmare boss fight was like inside the multiplayer game. I hadn't even seen it in the single player game. It was just okay, you know. And you can just go in a paddock and just kind of let it take you where it wants to go, kind of thing. Just play a whole bunch of stuff. It's got a good, fun way of touring all the various modes that are available, and didn't spend too much time hanging around in the actual paddock, you know, where everybody's just like jumping up and down and doing doing little text things. You know, it's the Kirby version of I'm using the Wii wheel or whatever. You know, I'm using motion controls, but you know, like that was surprisingly pretty nice way to do multiplayer. And also I think it's pretty easy to, like, if a friend on your friends list is just in like a public one of those paddocks, like you can just sort of hop into that pretty directly. That's pretty easy. What I don't think is so easy the way that it is in, say, Mario Kart, is just like if they were doing, you know, like a city trial, just a specific, you know, not in a paddock or anything, but just from the menu, like a city trial, especially a rank battle. I'm not so sure about quick battle. Like just hopping into them if they're playing one of those doesn't seem like it's possible in the same way. But for now, it has a bit of problem getting games, having fun with it. Obviously, that's something that you have to see how that holds up and how that develops over time. I know they've got some events that they're doing, you know, to try and probably, you know, herd people into doing some of the same things at particular times. And the first one of those, I think, is starting round about now. You know, the weekend kind of makes sense. But yeah, I played a lot of single player, actually. I played a lot of the road trip mode. And this is interesting because I think, you know, if you're somebody who's played so much Smash Brothers as I have, it's kind of, you see the various sorts of bits and pieces of like Smash Brothers modes over the years and how this kind of, you know, adapts them into, you know, this particular Kirby Air Riders single player. It's like, there's an element of, I think it's the single player in like the 3DS game where you kind of chose branching paths, but those were like coded by kind of difficulty. Whereas like here, the idea is like, okay, you're going through various kind of stages, but really it's kind of like taking all the many variables that the game affords you, right? Like it's similar to Smash Brothers. It's like you've got all these different things that can happen across all the various modes, right? That you've got Top Ride, you've got Air Ride, you've got City Trial, you've got those like little stadium events against bosses, or just, you know, you versus various players, or you know, competing to see who can kill the most, you know, regular enemies, or eat the most food items, a gourmet race, whatever it might be. And then, like, how can we kind of do all the different spins on those? How can we chop them up and put different kind of instances of them, and then sort of string those together into a single player kind of journey? And that is very much what they sort of tried to do, I think, with World of Light and the kind of sticker battles in general in Smash Ultimate. You know, where it's like, yeah, we've got all these things at our disposal. How can we kind of, you know, cobble them together into different challenges for the player? But if anything, this probably feels like it's a little bit more successful, I think, than the World of Light was, in terms of it just kind of feels a bit more cohesive, and also just like a bit more like, you know, you really kind of get into, and maybe some of this is the problem, like when I played Smash Ultimate, I've played many hours of other Smash games, right? I might not have played,
right,
you know, the World of Light before, or that particular edition of Smash Brothers when I played that mode before, but I've played so much Smash Brothers, and of course it's very close to the games for Wii U and 3DS, that maybe I didn't have that much to learn. With Air Ride, on the other hand, it's like, yes, I have a copy of the Japanese copy for GameCube that I messed around with a bit because it was cheap, because Kirby's so much more popular over there, but I'd never like mastered the game or saw, huge amounts of it. So I had a lot to learn about the way the game works. And of course, Air Riders has more stuff in it and more variables and all this kind of thing. So basically, these kind of runs that you have on the road trip, you're going through different environments, and, each point in this sort of, each kind of node on this trip through an environment, it's like you've got a choice of 3 little challenges. And, sometimes it might be like, okay, it's going to be 3 takes on the same thing, so it's not that much of a choice. It's like, well, you're going to fight one of the bosses, and it's going to be, and when I say bosses, it's like the things that can show up in City Trial that are like a boss, so Dynablade or Krakow, for instance. And, it's like you're going to fight them with like missile power-ups being a big part of how you're going to fight them. Like that, sometimes it's like it insists on you doing that. But a lot of the time it's quite different, right? One might be a top ride challenge. One might be a kind of arena battle where you've got to kill, your opponents. And they'll have different skill rewards, like City Trial, you're kind of compiling these buffs, the different attributes, the top speed, offense, defense, your health, all that kind of stuff. But here you're doing it through these little challenges on this journey through the environments and stuff. And so, this way, you kind of, certainly the first time I was doing it on normal, it was pretty much just like, what do I want to play? I didn't really give a shit about what attribute it was, because everything was so easy.
Right.
There was never much resistance of like, okay, oh no, I'm going to need a good, attributes for this one. Everything was so gentle that you just kind of, hey, pick whatever you want to play. And the biggest thing you kind of accrue in as you go on are the different rides themselves, the different machines, because they do play very, very differently. Some of them don't even have the boost. Like when you do when you press the button to slow down and it builds up the charge, like some of them don't even have a boost. Some of them turn on a dime. Some of them are super, super slidey round corners and everything. Some are way faster in the air. So you're looking to get any kind of time you can get up, use something as a little ramp and get some air time. You want to do that. Whereas others are, pretty much relatively like rooted, to the ground. So that for me was the biggest thing of like getting the different rides, doing different events, learning how the game plays, and you go through it pretty fast. It's fun. It's snappy. You see a bunch of stuff. You're unlocking a lot of the challenge wall things for that. The challenge wall, I think, was debuted in the original Kirby Air Ride. I don't think it'd been in Melee before that. But
I don't think it was in Melee. I think you're right.
And then Brawl would have been the first Smash Bros. Game
Brawl had
that had one. And it had like, you had like the hammers there for like the ones you couldn't do. I remember. Right.
And then you get a
few.
We got to Ultimate where it's, but there's some you can't hammer and it's the worst ones. Have fun.
Yes. You see, sort of went back the other way. There's just like, no. Some of the, you can't get out of jail free for a few of these. But yeah, so like you've got one specifically for road trip as well as one that's like for City Trial and Air Ride, Top Ride. And just through that first run, I think I had about 2/3 of that done. So, cause a lot of it's like incidental stuff, right? It's just like, did you happen to like kill so many enemies at once using this ability? That happened. That's one of the challenges. You're just gonna clear some of this stuff while you're, learning the game, while you're playing through this thing. And that unlocks drivers, the characters, it unlocks rides, it unlocks, various sorts of things, all these like cosmetic things and whatnot, but it's just, it's a nice, brisk, like you're going through it, you're unlocking stuff, you're achieving things. It's a nice little kind of tour of the game. And then let's do it again, right? Like it's got, you go through the different, areas of the landscape of the game and this sort of story that it's got. And you're choosing paths, right? So it's like, okay, do you go this, you pick a particular like item and that affects like what happens to the environment and then which place you go after that or whatever. So, let's do it again. I can go for some of the places I couldn't go before and bumped it up to hard. That still wasn't that different. It was, you see different challenges, and what you find out is when you go through some of the areas that you have to go through for a second time, it's like it keeps track of where I mentioned the individual kind of nodes on those maps as you travel through them, and you have a choice of like 3 different little games in each kind of node. It keeps track of the ones you beat. And it's not random. Like the same ones are there again, and you can beat the other ones now and stuff like for the places that you're going through for the second time. But even though it's not random, it could still be quite a different kind of experience, I guess, because if you pick different things, a lot of the time you're going to get different buffs. And of course, when you play on hard and it starts to put up a little more resistance, all of a sudden now you start to think more about like, well, I kind of got on a run of getting quite a lot of attack power-ups because I did tasks that give you that. Like, if you tend to pick, like, the melee type of challenges where it's like, kill your rivals, kill this many enemies, they tend to give you attack power-ups. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, I've got 3 challenges here. I probably will be able to do this one more easily because it's predicated on killing stuff and I have an attack stat, and so it starts to affect maybe the decision making a little bit more, but all of that kind of, I guess, starts early and could snowball a little bit. But with the hard mode, it still wasn't so difficult that, that was a big influence. The bigger thing is that you get to see like an additional like bit at the end, like, and kind of have an alternate like kind of finale and ending to it when you do the second time. So I did that. And then it's like, okay, let's look at super hard, right? So what does super hard do? Well, super hard says you can't retry the same way that you used to. So before, you kind of build up again, very much like Smash Brothers had like a lot of coins that you kind of accrue, and you'd put stuff you'd put those coins into like the gumball machine or whatever in Melee and various equivalents in the subsequent games. You're accruing these miles, I think they call them here. And you could just pay usually quite a small amount. So, okay, yeah, I failed that challenge, but I can retry it and I can pick a different machine from the ones that I've accumulated, right? And that'll be a lot of the time how you might fail a challenge. It's just like, yeah, you know what, this machine is not good at like tight corners for like chasing something, a particular enemy around in the city trial environment or something when you've got to kill it fast or whatever. So just pick a different one. Oh, yeah, we've done it. Moving on. But now with super hard, it says no. You have to do, you have checkpoints, but it still means that, and like, there's basically a midway checkpoint in the middle of each sort of, section of the map. And then you have like about 10 sections of the map total. So, plenty of checkpoints overall, but it does mean that you can't just kind of say, all right, essentially I can have a particular ride, a particular machine for a particular challenge each time. That goes away now, right? Because it's like, no, I've got to get through this section of challenge, multiple different ones, and I might only be able to change a limited amount based on like, they have these little pit stops in between, so you can change there. Sometimes there's a ride that you can collect on the road, so like that's an opportunity to change, but it's limited. So you might actually have to start thinking strategy wise, like, okay, can I pick something where this ride is not perfect for it, but I can just about get past it? And then, after that, I'll get to the kind of, the last like boss before the checkpoint or whatever, where I need the better stats that this thing has, right? Like it's, a race, an air ride race where the top speed is really important. So picking the bloody big tank thing that kills everything it probably can be done, especially if you're better at the game and understand the game more than I do. But, you want something that's more naturally kind of inclined to be able to, solve that particular kind of problem. And that's really kind of where, to me, the road trip mode sort of became not just like, okay, here's a nice little tour through all the different elements that this game contains and how they work and all that, but more of a thing unto itself. Like, I've got like, oh yeah, I have to, this is actually putting, what I've learned about the game and all the various things and how it works to the test a little bit, right? And I've got to show that I know what I'm doing now. And that's been, quite a lot of fun. I feel like it shows, that there is, a certain amount of depth here, and breadth as well, with all these different crafts and the different kind of challenges. And, the one thing you do have on your side with the super hardware, as I said, it's not just the fact that you don't have as many opportunities to retry anymore, but the challenges themselves, while they are fundamentally the same type of things as they were, because I said it's not randomized, but they are hard to the point that it is not trivial to clear them. And, your stats do matter and your performance matters. And sometimes they're just so quick. It can be like, especially top ride. Like, top ride races are not that long in general, but when they have a challenge for top ride in this, it's over in like 15 seconds. And it's like you bugger up one turn. It's like, oh, well, back to a checkpoint now, It can be a little bit demoralising. It can be, sometimes I'm like, I think I've got decent stats for the top ride challenge, but I'm still going to veer away from it because I don't want to take the chance. But, I've been impressed with it in its ability to both, introduce me to what the game has to offer and then, more latterly, actually provide, something of a challenge and, kind of endeavour unto itself. And, you've got some of that, lots of that trademark, for what I think of as Smash Brothers stuff, but obviously it's Sakurai stuff, of just the soundtrack and the sort of flashiness, the satisfaction of KOing things, is still there, even though obviously it happens, quite differently. And, the kind of end game and the big spectacle and all that kind of stuff that he always manages to get out of that, it's all there, for people who love that sort of aesthetic and other sort of elements that come, with Smash. That a lot of that stuff is here and works pretty well. So yeah, so far I'm impressed with it, and I guess there is still a question about the lasting appeal that only time is going to tell. But it's been a good first impression. Good, cool.
Anything else?
No. I've said, Hyrule Warriors might, pick that up a little bit more before next week. But as with, John, Metroid Prime 4 is going to be with us, just a matter of days after this podcast goes up. So, yeah, kind of going to be clearing the deck a little bit for that.
Yeah. I actually finished Age of Calamity's story today. So probably around 25 hours, I think. I haven't done everything in there. It's not quite as outrageous to do everything as it was in the previous Zelda Warriors games, particularly the first one. But it's still probably not a mountain I feel like climbing. I don't feel dramatically different than I felt yesterday or last week. The ending does. Well, one of my complaints was that a lot of the characters feel very samey, which is still true. There is some variety to how the characters behave. So, for example, a lot of the Gerudo have a little timing mini game on their special attack, where a little circle.
Yeah, I was going to say, that I thought of that when you were,
but
because I've got far enough to have some of those.
But
it is different. But I get the other thing that's worth mentioning about those characters in general. Like, basically, you've kind of got, your kind of highborn characters, your sages and your royalty, and then you've got your common folk characters, is they are all optional. Like, you don't necessarily have to recruit them at all. So I guess, if you're not that fussed about them, you don't have to.
You don't, no.
You don't have to recruit them again, but if you do, you could mess around with them if they don't, for any particular reason, seem to be something you have an affinity for, the way they function in combat, then you really don't have to feel obliged to pour resources into leveling them up. And because, as you mentioned, with the the little bits on the map, we have to give the resources with the bugs and the diamonds or whatever. You don't want to waste those. They are scarce resources, right? So you're naturally going to spend those more on the main characters, shall we say, right? The ones that the game knows that you must have.
Right.
And so, it's probably going to be those other characters that are kind of more associated with the construct half, because it tends to be the construct and Calamo that are bringing them into the fold, and they're just the regular guys of the army and stuff. It's just try them. If you like them, then level them up and use them. If not, you're probably just going to leave them behind.
There is, without getting into too much detail, well, we know this from Tears of the Kingdom, where the sages and the highborn all go off to fight Ganondorf. Everybody else is left behind to sort of fight the riffraff enemies. So I don't know what would happen if you hadn't recruited any of those fucks. I'd be very, I guess they must a bare minimum are auto recruited. Because that mission would not be very much fun if you just had Calamo and the construct. Because even though the characters themselves aren't that useful, there's a couple that were okay. Having somebody nearby who's leveled up and you can do joint attacks with, is a beneficial asset to have. Because a lot of times when you run a mission, it'll be the characters that you select in the mission, but there'll be other named characters who are just sort of auto-deployed that you can't control, but they're on the map and you can still do joint attacks with them.
You could do the sync strikes, with them, which are pretty useful.
They might wander up and maybe you've sent the rest of the characters off to go start on, maybe it's there's two objectives right now. Maybe you sent the other 3 off to go sort of soften that area up while you ran character 4 to go deal with the other one, because the AI does not fucking do anything. They are so passive. That, maybe I usually run the construct ahead and just have the construct just run. Once it gets to the destination, I'll hop over to it and clear the area, and then let the remainder sort of soften things up while I'm working. The end game does create some challenges that are fun. I feel like the game forgot it had the bullet hell mode for about the middle third. Or not the middle third. Not quite the very end, but basically until let's say the 4th and 5th, 6th of the game. It forgot that it had created the bullet hell mode. Oh shit, we gotta put that back in the game. Oh fuck. And then it shows up again. But I feel like it did. It's the ending is pretty decent in terms of gameplay. But it does kind of make the sameness of some of the other missions stick out more as a consequence. It's you could have built missions like this. You just chose not to. There are still things towards the end where it's just you have to kill. The objective is literally kill 500 enemies. And it's just, you're just running around a field with enemies that are just constantly spawning. It's this is probably the least engaging gameplay they could have come up with right now. It's I have killed so many fucking of these, I don't know, but what's the most generic enemy?
Bokoblins?
Yeah. It's I've killed so many bogoblins at this point, fuck it. Why do I need to kill 500 of them now? whatever. But there are boss fights towards the end. The boss fights throughout most of the game just don't feel very good because they're trying to recreate Tears of the Kingdom boss fights, that are often very puzzle oriented, or, like Kogera. We talked about this one before the show started. Kogera's boss fight is about falling with style. There's no mechanic for that in a Warriors game, so it doesn't work. But they still want you to have a fight that is reminiscent of Kogera within the mechanics that are present to them. And it doesn't work. And so when you fight that boss, and bosses come back in this game, it's very Mario-esque in that way. It's just not a good boss fight. It just kind of sucks. And basically there's parallels to all the Tears of the Kingdom bosses in here, and they're all kind of like, I get what you're going for, but there is a very, very, very late Tears of the Kingdom boss fight. Very late. Like, dead-ass end. That would actually work quite well in a Warriors construct. Because it's just two characters having a big sword fight. And, the parallel works super well, and it's a super fun fight. The construct gets his own fight, where they use that fight to explain why the construct doesn't show up in any of the lore of Tears of the Kingdom, despite the fact that they seem to know an awful lot about the lore of the Imprisoning War in Tears of the Kingdom.
Does Jimmy Smits show up and say, have the construct's mind wiped?
I have no comment.
No, I suppose you can't.
I will say you're closer than you think you are. So, putting that aside, it's like, I enjoyed the game. I want to be clear. I enjoyed the game. I just felt like, man, there's some things they could, like, even in the end, it's like, oh yeah, see this, I would have loved to have seen more fights that looked like this, rather than making me just grind through 700 enemies and 6 bases to get to this boss fight that's not very good. Here's one boss fight that's super long, but feels like it was built around the gameplay and not trying to emulate something that happened in a different game. Cause like, nobody plays like Link. I mean, the construct can use all the weapons like Link, but he doesn't have any of the locomotion that Link has. Like, all the locomotion skills that Tears of the Kingdom gives Link, he doesn't have. So it's just a different experience. So accept that, but also accept that the construct's not in a lot of the big boss fights, because those boss fights are represented in Tears of the Kingdom, and therefore the construct can't be there. Like, if we saw that boss fight in Tears of the Kingdom, or if we saw that battle, and the construct wasn't there, which it wasn't, because it's not in any of Tears of the Kingdom, then the construct's not there in this game when it's represented. So there's lots of, like, important fights that the construct simply won't be there. And they create things for it to be doing in the parallel. But that's the only thing that feels kinda like Link, and even then, it can't do all the cool effects and shit. So, like, build your boss fights around what your engine can do, not around what another game's engine did, I guess is what I'm going for. But, again, the ending, it does stick the ending pretty well. There is one thing I've observed, and I meant to mention it last week, but all of the videos in this game are pre-rendered. And they have like a weird compression.
They are videos, yeah.
They have like a weird compression that's not very good.
No, it's one of these things because the image quality and, the frame rate and everything, like, in engine is pretty good.
Yeah.
So, like, the videos do just seem worse.
Right. And there's like a weird fog in all of them. Like they seem washed out. You can see some artifacting, because I almost wonder if they're 1080p being upscaled. But they're just not. They exist because the models they use in the pre-rendered videos do things that the character models in engine can't do. I get that, but like the video quality is not good. It's very noticeable.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's just a space concern. It's a pretty big. It's a big install, as it is.
It's what finally got me to get an SD card. But I don't know. It's not a big deal, but it is like, God, that's super noticeable. The other flip side of that, though, is that's the only place where characters actually talk. And the funny thing is, that's the one place where I could get away with them not talking. It wouldn't make any sense, but that's the spot where I could actually stop and read the text on screen. Whereas characters are saying story things during battle, but it's in text in the bottom left corner where you're almost certainly not looking.
Sure, yeah, there's a decent... I mean, sometimes there's moments where, it's just kind of happening, you know what I mean? Like when you just cutting through a mob and there's nothing particularly thoughtful about that. You might be able to glance an eye to the corner and read some of that flavor texty kind of, battle banter, whatever's going on there. I'm sure it's never that crucial, but equally it's probably meant to give you a better idea, especially of these characters you've never seen before.
Right. Because the ones that aren't in the video, because they can't be, because I don't know if you have them.
Sure, yeah, that's also true. Of who they are, right? It's through this kind of flavor text stuff. But yeah, inevitably, there's going to be times where I imagine you're going to miss it, right? Because it's just the other stuff happening on screen is what game has a lot of voiceover in that case that you wouldn't miss such crucial time? It would be Kid Icarus Uprising.
I knew where this was going, but the thing is, in Kid Icarus Uprising, no one says anything that shows that they have a brain more developed than a 6-year-old. It's like, that's the problem with Kid Icarus Uprising, isn't that they talk a lot. It's that they say the most inane shit in the world. While Pit's out doing, fighting evil, they're over there arguing about proper gardening technique or bullshit. We talked about Raiden, was it Raiden 4 last week? Raiden, where it's just people rambling about fucking coffee while you're trying to stop a nuclear holocaust. It's that. But that's at least done as a joke. This is that's just this is good flavor text. No, it's not. What the thing about how this plays out in Age of Imprisonment is there are definitely times where, because there's so much happening on screen, because again, it is using the Switch 2's power pretty effectively. And there's just things exploding, and I just killed an enemy that explodes when it dies, and it caused 6 others of its compatriots to explode, and everything's on fire, and I'm just kind of visually so much is happening that I didn't notice a conversation had been going in the bottom left of my screen for a while, and I came in at the very end, and I'm I wonder what they're talking about. No way to know. Oh well. It's not a big deal, but it is kind of God, it's more that there's a shitload of it. There is so much text that pops up down there. These characters have so much to say that no one on Earth will ever, ever, ever read. It's a very weird omission of just voice acting here. Maybe because there's so many characters, but also not enough care put into your video production to make the videos not look like crap. It's a weird thing. It's a weird game in a lot of ways. Anyway, Greg, you're going to talk about it more in the future, so I'll set that aside for now.
Sure.
Probably
one thing I can mention about it also, I did get to test, just really for the sake of testing. It's not something that I've been putting any amount of time in this way with it. But I think it's the first time I've ever tested for any game the Gameshare via game chat functionality. So you're seeing if you're doing co-op with another person that does not own the game. So it's remote download play type of stuff. And it works. I mean, it was pretty effective. I mean, admittedly, this was someone relatively nearby, so I don't know, how sensitive, the connection, the streaming, kind of tech, that they're using there. You've got to stream the game to another system remotely. It would be to players farther apart, physically, but, through an online connection, you do take a hit, in terms of the frame rate that it's running the game at, so it's you're not getting that, what I would assume is, pretty stable 60-ish kind of frame rate for playing the game. Typically looks like it's more in the kind of 30 range again, but, I've got to say, compared to back when it was a sort of similar thing, just doing co-op on the Wii U gamepad alongside the TV back on Hyrule Warriors, the original, for Wii U, the concessions are not nearly that steep
Right.
You know, it seems like it works pretty well. And, you know, I think that's a pretty big deal for a game like this. Not necessarily for me personally, how I'm going to play it, but in general, you know, this is the type of thing that is apt, you know, for co-op play, but not necessarily are you going to have somebody, you know, that you can play with in the same room, and not necessarily you're going to have someone who's willing to spend, you know, a fair amount of money to also own the game. But, you know, this kind of bridges that gap a bit. And, you know, I would imagine it could be something that would get a fair few people that own the game quite a lot more enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, I'm interested to try that when I have someone here in a few weeks. There's a couple games I'm looking forward to trying it with. I mean, I have a Switch. I could just do it, but it's different. I want to actually see what it's like when someone's playing it. The other thing I'm going to touch on is we are now in the second challenge phase of the Donkey Kong Bananza DLC challenges. This one has you on can't remember what the name of the lair is. It's the lair you go to that's just a big grassland. Is
it the hill? Is it
hillside lair or something like that? Yeah,
it's the one you end up like turf surfing over a lot, right? That's kind of like how you. I think is that where that's introduced to a fair amount, or so it's certainly where you kind of it expects you to use it.
Yeah,
I
think that's where it tutorializes it more. Like I think it mentions it sort of in passing in the second lair, but there's really not a lot of turf surfing to do in that lair. Because there's so much water, and you almost certainly don't have the upgrade that lets you turf surf over water yet. But this challenge is different. So the last one was really about understanding that there is a skill that can be used to convert coins into gold, and focusing on maximizing coin generation because of the power-ups that it made available. This one is giving you a menu of options around adjusting your multiplier. But ultimately, the objective is about trying to get as much gold as possible from completing the challenges that Void gives you, not from the enemies you kill or from collecting. And so there is of the upgrades that are in the rotation, because it is a much reduced list from the full list, are ones that multiply the gold result from Void, ones that multiply the gold result based on how many coins you're holding, ones that help you collect more coins. But there's also some other ones in there, but the really relevant ones are tied to different moves you can use as a character, like how much time you spent using charge moves, how much time or how many individual chunks you have absorbed as the Elephant Kong. It's not how many you're holding, how many you've absorbed over the course of this run. I want to say it caps out at 99. But one of them that's interesting is when you spin, which is not a skill I used almost ever playing the game, but essentially you spin Donkey Kong around and then jump, and he does a little like propeller, kind of like Dixie. And he slowly falls to the ground as long as he can keep the propeller spinning, which you don't have to keep spinning your stick. As long as you don't bump into anything, you stay spinning. There is an upgrade you can get from completing a Void challenge, finding a banana that has a power-up tied to it, or from one of the fossils, that creates a multiplier based on how many seconds you've been spinning. Which feels like a very weird thing to be based on. But there is a very long tube in that stage that takes you to the bottom sub-layer. And if you just spin jump off the side of that tube, you'll rack up like 10 seconds of spinning in that one fall. And there's a cannon at the bottom of the pipe, and you can shoot yourself back up and do it again. Meaning you can rack up about 20 seconds in about 25 seconds. And if you can get enough coins, because the coins to just keep playing, because you still have to hit in the Emerald Rush, there are targets you have to hit at the end of every round. You still have to hit those as part of this challenge, but that doesn't affect whether or not you get the upgrade or the unlocks you're going for. That's based purely on how much gold you ended up collecting at the end, even if you spent it to reshuffle the power-ups that were available to you. It still counts towards your total. But it won't count towards clearing the challenges at every round. So that's the thing you have to keep in mind. I found that I was able to get that multiplier up using the spin. So basically, I got a bunch of money. I had enough money for like 3 rounds where I wouldn't have to collect a single piece of gold. I was in good shape. And all I did for that 270 seconds was spin jump off the side and just got that multiplier through the roof. And then the only upgrade I would grab was the one that multiplies your spin. And by the end, every time I cleared a void challenge, I was pulling in about I want to say like 90 to 100,000 gold, which the goal is 1 million to unlock fucking Lanky Kong. I finished that run with basically 4 million. I could have stopped playing in the 7th out of 10 rounds and just put the controller down and walked away. And the only reason it wouldn't have worked is because I have to press A to advance the menu between rounds. I was done. So there are options here. The chunk absorption one also seems like it has some potential. I just haven't figured out how to get that one beyond like 750k. So there's something there. I just haven't figured it all out yet. But yeah, I now have all of the challenges complete from this set and the first one. So I'm very curious about where this third one. They announced it the other day. I'm trying to remember who was in it. What how they're going to build a challenge around it. Let's see who's in this one. It's the Jungle Beat characters this time. It's Ninja Kong and Ghastly Kong from Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Because it was on they announced it on the Japanese website. Which
it's kind of an obscure pull.
Yeah, a little bit. But I mean, Lanky Kong, relatively speaking, is pretty obscure because, Donkey Kong 64 is 1 million years ago. But yeah, this is even more so. There is, however, a representation of the Congo drums. So, like, at least there's, something. Like, that's on the island. I don't even know what Ninja Kong looks like. Oh, God. Oh, it's that one. Okay. Yeah. It's the one with the samurai haircut that's on the box of Donkey Kong. What was that one called?
Jungle Beat?
Jungle Beat, yeah. Ninja Kong and what's the other one? Final. I see some people calling it Final Kong and Bushido Kong. I guess it depends on what translation you're using. But I enjoy these challenges. I'm very curious. Final Kong is it's the weird monster looking one, the Ghastly King. Final Kong is the Japanese name, I say. I'm very curious what these end up, like what the challenge they end up building for them is, because it's been fun figuring out how to decode the challenge, like how they want you to crack the case on these. So I'll be curious to see what this next one looks like. All right. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we're going to talk about our next retroactive. We might not do much after that because it's kind of late. And so we'll just, play it by ear a little bit. But please stay tuned. We return to you for Radio Free Nintendo, part 2 of this episode. First off, email, send them please to rfn@nintendoworldreport.com. That is rfn@nintendoworldreport.com. We actually asked you for retroactive suggestions, and we actually got a lot of them, which is an interesting thing because I saw a lot of names that have never sent questions. And as always, because it's hard for us to get good metrics on who's listening to the show, emails is one of the ways we know you're out there. So it used to be the talk back at the Nintendo World Report forums. Internet forums have basically died. It is what it is. So emails tell us you're alive. Gives us hope to continue the show. So if you could send an email, I'd appreciate it. It's the holidays coming up. It could be a gift to us. That is rfn@nintendoworldreport.com. I will speak it slower so you can hear it. I kind of think we're going to probably record some episodes in a marathon session or back to back or maybe on like subsequent days towards the end of December so that we can put some episodes in the can. Right now, our tentative plan is business as usual for the next few weeks, and then starting on the week of the 22nd, you will get a regular Radio Free Nintendo, or at least as regular as this show is. We will then likely take the week of the 29th off. This is one of our lowest listened to weeks when I have metrics that I can trust, which is to say not very often. And then we will resume business on the week of the 5th. So what do we plan to do during that time frame? Well, next week, regular episode, Metroid Prime 4. It's finally here. Maybe some early conversation on that. Week of the 8th. Significantly more conversation on that. Week of the 15th, probably even more conversation on that. Maybe also some email that week. And maybe we'll do an email heavy show depending on how much Metroid we have, because something that's a little bit less timely. And then we will also around that time, around the 18th, but maybe as late as the 22nd, be recording our next Retroactive. That's right. We are going to announce it, and you need to start playing it very quickly. Our guiding principles on this, because of the relatively short period of time, was 1, highly available. This is something that I was very emphatic about. Most of you got the message. Some of you did not get the message. It was 2 criteria. Easily available, quick to play. Just baffling. Baffling behavior by you people. Most of you got that part though. And then the second, as I mentioned, is that it'd be relatively quick to play because this is going to be a quick turnaround. So, we settled on a game on NSO. We went through the NSO list and a couple candidates. Winback, my beloved, was a considered candidate. We did not go with Winback this time. I actually think Winback might be another good candidate though for when we need to do a quick turnaround Retroactive. So, keep that one under your hat. We picked a game that is unique in its history because it is a multi-platform game that came out during the PS2, GameCube, Xbox era, in which the GameCube is the top-selling platform. I believe that is the only game where this is a true statement. Actually, Sonic Adventure 2, I don't know if that ever came out on PS2, so that's probably out. You should probably guess what this game is, because it's Soul Calibur 2. Why was it the top-selling version if you weren't born? What was that game now? 20 years old? Its anniversary is coming up. This is part of the reason we went with it. Link was playable in this one, whereas in the Xbox version, you got fucking Spawn, and the PS2 version got Heihachi from Tekken, which is weird choice in a game about fighting with weapons over the fate of weapons. You put a punch man in there. Also, because Spawn was involved, all the platforms got Necrid. Todd McFarlane had cast his paw over the franchise from that point forward with Necrid, who has a fucking mood ring embedded in his chest or some bullshit that changes colors when he gets amped up. He's like Bane, but green, basically.
And he walks like, that girl in The Exorcist. Crab walks or whatever.
Oh, that's Voldo, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, right. You're right.
Yeah, Voldo is like weird fetish character. Particularly weird fetish character. There's a lot of weird fetish characters in Soul Calibur. Voldo just happens to be particularly weird fetish. So we are going to start doing this one pretty quick. Now, some things to note. Because this is an NSO game, it does technically support online play. Is it any good? We don't know. I will try to put some time out there in the NWR Discord where some of us will be playing it so we can test out the online play. I don't have time for that yet. Probably won't happen until next week. Just to get a feel for it. This is also probably going to be a pretty casual Retroactive because there is a fairly long and expansive story mode, but ultimately it's a multiplayer arcade fighter. So like, what do you talk about in one of these things? Like, we'll talk about the package as a whole, but yeah, that's what we're going with. This
does require the expansion pack, right?
It does
to play this guy.
I do not have expansion pack, so this will be my foray into expansion pack. It is not a significantly expensive upgrade if you already have NSO, but yeah, it's the N64 was going to be the same way. So like we were kind of kind of in the ballpark eventually.
Yeah,
in the GBA.
I do actually have this, like, you know, like I just don't think I feel
I
like
have it.
pulling out my,
Yeah.
I mean, I have it, and I still have my GameCube. I just don't really feel like pulling it back out and setting it up.
Yep. I'm interested to see it. And I'd also think it would look like shit on my TV.
Probably, that's the thing, right? Yeah, it's gonna look like crap on any TV that I would be able to put it on.
I think the conversation about how NSO feels in this game would also be kind of interesting for the purposes of the topic. Like, how does the online play stuff feel?
Yeah, agreed.
So that's it. That's gonna be the game. But stay tuned for Winback. Now I want to do Winback. Like, I've got to this point where it was the joke, and now it's the only thing I want is Winback. It's the longing has set in because I was so stupid as to make jokes about it. So fuck me, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I assume everyone here has played Soul Calibur 2, probably a lot.
Yeah, I played quite a bit of it.
The game sold very well on GameCube.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, it was very big at launch too. Like, you know.
Very
big.
But yeah, like it came out basically almost at the same time as F-Zero GX. I ended up playing F-Zero GX way more. But I remember that I got F-Zero GX, I got Soul Calibur 2, and I got the guide for Soul Calibur 2, and I think that put me off playing the game.
Oh.
Because, like, here's the moves list. And to me, like, a moves list should be like, oh yeah, the three special, three special moves that each Street Fighter 2 character has. But no, like, this was like, okay, if you press, like, hold, like, down, diagonal, down forward and kick, it's like the sweep, and diagonal down. Anyway, like, it was just like, it was overwhelming. It's like, there can't be like 37 named moves for this character and 68 for this other character. Like, why? I don't know where to start. I don't know where to go.
It's weirdly button mash friendly game.
Also,
so
that's eventually what I ended up doing. But at first I was like, I'm going to learn this. I never learned it.
Nope.
No.
And most players never did, because you don't really need to.
Yeah.
I definitely in Soul Calibur, I think it's 5, with Talim as my main, had combos and sets for her that worked really well. But it wasn't, like I never learned all the characters. Like, I learned a character.
5 was the one that was like Sony exclusive, wasn't it?
Was it 5? Maybe it was 6. It was the one that had Yoda and Darth Vader in it. Depending on which version you got, which was so weird. And Star Killer. Fucking Star Killer. Remember Star Killer?
Terrible.
No.
Oh my god.
I mean, Star Killer, he was from the Force Unleashed, was he not?
He was. And Force Unleashed.
I wish I didn't know that, but for some reason that is lodged in my head.
And then Disney retconned that motherfucker out of existence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Star Killer Base. Which is like a weird illusion that they named something in the sequel Star Killer Base. And it's like, wait, is that a reference?
Because originally Skywalker was going to name Star Killer.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I get that. But like, they reused it again. It's like, you fucks.
Right.
Anyway, we're gonna, because this took a little bit less time than I expected to get through, because I'm used to us rambling on shit, I'm gonna read one email, and it's a game. I like games. I've asked for games. Today's a game. This is from AG, who writes, "Greetings all. Last year I threatened you with another quiz about the life and times of Jon Lindemann, and the time has come to make true on that promise. Some notes. Same as last time, some questions have multiple answers. Gain a point for correct, lose a point for incorrect. Answers are in a separate email. I will try to format them like last time. I have seen them. I cannot read them until I highlight them, so I'll be able to go through with that. Current scores. Oh, we're going to get an update based on where we were last time. The question of who knows John best on this show. Answer, me, 19, John, 19, Greg, 15, Guillaume, 12. Which means as of right now, There's a tie for first place for who knows Jon Lindemann best. The only way it could have been funnier would be if Guillaume and Jon swapped places and Jon was in last place about himself. Which honestly would have been amazing. That would have been the absolute goddamn best, but unfortunately that is not what we got. So let me go ahead and start a scoreboard. All right, we're going to go through this. All right, so part 0, Jon Lindemann, Genesis. What were the first words Jon said on the podcast? A, hey Birch. B, ahoy my pirate friends. C, I have arrived. Or D, Mr. Bitchfield is in, I see. Fuck, any of these could be valid.
Well, I mean, it was it's Evan and Lindy, right? That's the name of the first episode that Jon was on.
Yeah,
Mr. Bitchfield. That's such a.
So
that's not clever.
That rules out the pirate crew because that would that'd be something potentially that would be with Carl and Stan. So you've got Birch. You've got. So
I have arrived. And Mr. Bitchfield is in, I see. John's like, oh, that's not clever. Jon, you absolutely would have said something like that in like 2007.
Just no way.
These are probably all quotes from the episode. So we're gonna find out.
That wouldn't have been the first thing I said. I can't say I wouldn't have said it. But
you've got to build up to it. I mean, something that
I gotta have evidence of said bitching.
Because I have arrived is very much feels like an early Jon answer to being introduced for the first time.
I would agree. That would be my guess.
Greg, Guillaume?
Yeah, I'm going with the first one. Hey, Birch.
Hey, Birch.
Yeah, I'm going with that as well. It's very sort of unremarkable, but that feels like that's what was the reality of it probably.
Yeah.
The answer. Oh wow. Okay. The answer. I did not expect AG to have put commentary. The answer was A. Hey Birch, which he notes he was a reasonable guest.
I see.
Wow.
That's
the swerve. Yeah.
Which is extremely. I mean, he's not wrong. That is the swerve. What happens? All right. So Greg and Guillaume get a point. Question 2.
Wow. All right, I'm 0-for-1.
What song introduces Jon's inaugural episode? A. Act Like a Fool, Ludacris. B. Represent, Trick Daddy. C. Stutter, Joe. D. Pump It Up, Joe Budden. Is Pump It Up that old?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, that's the one I would go with, but I was like, is timing right?
I think Pump It Up might be a bit early, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got no memory of this.
I would say
None
Ludacris.
whatsoever.
I'd say Ludacris.
Oh, you're gonna go Act the Fool?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna stick with Pump It Up. I guess if y'all don't know, you can just pick a random letter.
I'm gonna go with Jon with this one. I figured.
Okay.
I think I'll go with James on this one. I should be hedging, against it, but no.
All right, let's see. What do we got? The answer is it was in fact D, Pump It Up, which again I didn't even realize that song was that old.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it must.
Yeah,
be.
this would have been 06 for the record, right? Because it was.
Yeah,
I think somewhere in the teens, and the podcast started in the summer. With E3 of 06, so it still would have been solidly in 2006 at the time.
I just saw one of the choices for the next question, and I'm already upset. All right, because I know the answer too. What quote did Jon used to have on his RFN profile page? This will also be your NWR profile page. A, too legit to quit. B, it's easy to take cheap shots from cheap seats. C, funked out with the gangsta twist. Or D, fuck you, James Jones. which, to be fair, could be true because we weren't able to edit our profiles for years, and John and I had already well established our rapport by the time that feature came back.
I know which one this is.
What was that?
I know the answer to this.
I know this one as well.
Yeah.
I have seen it.
Well, so we're just waiting for you guys to give your answer then.
That's why I'm not.
Well, I want it to be too legit to quit. That's the problem. I want it to be that so badly. I'm just gonna say that.
All right, Guillaume.
It does sound right too to me. So
okay,
yeah.
I'm 99% confident it's easy to take cheap shots from the cheap seats.
It is. Yep.
Because I feel like I recall seeing it many times to the point where I think it upset me. B, which is the correct answer, but you have to use the Wayback Machine to see it, and the quote disappeared sometime in the past 15 years. By the way, no name on
the past 15 years.
Hold on, he's not done putting commentary. By the way, no name in the masthead that I've seen. That's correct. There's never been a name in the masthead. Despite John's claims that he was in the masthead.
Well, it should have been.
Well, that you were site director. You could have affected that change. All right. As of this moment, at the end of the first section. Actually, is that the end of the first section? Yes. I have 2, Greg has 2, Guillaume has 1, John has 1. John is tied for last place on Who Knows Jon Lindemann
I should
best.
have 2, actually.
Should you?
Well, yeah.
What
I
are
got
the 2
1
you
and
got?
2. What?
No, is that true?
Yeah,
I
got 1
think
and
so.
2. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Part 1, because that was part 0, because fuck numbering. Jon Lindemann, the consumer. John states that he is a, quote, generous, all caps, tipper. But he has rules on when and where he will tip.
Oh my god. All right.
According to this is a recent one.
This is a recent one.
Doesn't make it any more likely I'm going to recall it.
According to these rules, which he declared on the podcast, where would Jon Lindemann tip? A, Panera Bread. B, Cat's Deli. C, Red Lobster. D, the Costco food court. This is like a critical thinking question because he laid out a rubric. Remember, this is a multiple answer one, so I suspect this one because I.
Can you go over those 4 again?
Yes.
If John doesn't get this one.
I mean,
Panera. Yeah, that's right, John.
Okay.
This is just you. Where would you tip? Panera Bread, Cat's Deli, Red Lobster, or the Costco food court?
Although, in a way, even if John gets this one wrong, he gets it right, doesn't it? Because it's just like, well, no, it's what he says goes.
All right.
Right.
I'm just going to lean in and say, based on the rubric that John laid out, I feel confident the answers are A and C, and I will explain my answers after the fact.
So you think I would tip where?
Panera Bread and Red Lobster.
I would. I know where I would. I know. Like, I know where. I know there's really only one answer to this. There's really only one.
There's only one logical explanation for John's trouble is that actually there are 2 Jon Lindemans, and one of them was the other one was possibly Lon Lindemann, and he was the one that was actually giving that answer. Yeah. And today's Jon Lindemann can't remember it.
So the thing is, John, like, even though you may not tip in one of these places, the answer says you would. So therefore,
okay. I tip for service, is what I will say.
That is why I have picked the answers I have picked.
Service.
So I'm not familiar with Panera Bread. I didn't realize there was service. It's not the place.
It's not the place that you tip at, Guillaume. That's all you need to know.
Okay, all right.
I would go with Red Lobster.
You walk up and place an order
based on almost nothing.
Yeah, I went with C as well.
It's like tipping at Tim Hortons, Guillaume, for reference.
Yeah. Okay.
So the answers are. So all right, A and C. John said he wouldn't tip if he had to bus his own tray. So that's Cats and Costco out. He proudly boasted of tipping at Olive Garden et al.
Yeah. That's the thing. I wouldn't tip it. I would not tip at Panera just because at Panera they don't really bus your table. Like they come by and clean it after you're done or whatever, but it's not really like a restaurant.
Oh, I've absolutely had them bust my table. That was why I picked it.
No, I've never tipped a Panera. No way.
I think I've only been once in LA, at E3, and it was not bust.
Okay, I know for a fact I have had my table bust at Panera. But I will, even though the rules say I should get 2 points, I will not take a ding on this one.
What John says goes. I say, on this particular question, I feel like his position is unassailable.
I refuse to take the penalty.
You just don't tip.
You shouldn't have to. No, not a penalty. No.
Well, because the idea was for the multi guesses, if you go over, you get a penalty. But I'm not. No,
this one's too wishy washy for penalties.
Fine. Yeah.
In episodes.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just saying. I would tip at Red Lobster because you're actually tipping a waitress. They don't have waitresses or waiters or whatever at Panera. So, they have people behind the counter that come out and clean the tables afterwards, but they don't bus your table. At least in a Panera I've been in. Maybe you're in some swanky Paneras.
Yeah, I have had them bring out food, yes. It depends on how it's laid out. But to me, they're doing that just because they're following up on your order. Like, they're not actually waiting on you.
Yeah, like the A&W here in Canada, like they can bring you your tray to you.
Yes.
You wouldn't tip at A&W.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Thank you, Guillaume.
Episode 793, so relatively recent.
Okay.
Oh, this one's easy. What gaming purchase did John share with the podcast? Does anybody want to just guess what it is without having...
Is it the thermoelectric cooler?
It has to be the Xbox fridge. Has to be.
That lines up.
Yep, that's my answer. The other choices are the Playdate, the Steam Deck, the Analog Pocket, or the Xbox cooler.
Man,
if we're all wrong, it's going to be very funny.
Yeah, but a lot of those could be right as well.
They could be.
That's what depresses me.
Oh fuck! Oh no!
We got it wrong.
We got it half right.
What is it?
In that quote. B dash a busy day for the wallet. So it was the Steam Deck and the Xbox cooler.
Wow.
It's pretty sad that it's the cooler that we remember, isn't it?
Well, the episode title is something
you can play, untold amounts of games for like really cheap prices and on the go or whatever, and then you've got the most fucking patently useless thing it's ever bought.
That's
what we remember.
So I just Googled it because I was pretty sure I had the name and I was close. Episode 793, My Colleague Bought a Novelty Fridge is the name of the episode. I still have the art assets I created for the image on that one sitting on my computer because I've reused them like 20 times.
You never know. You might need to do a special edition of that one day as well, might you?
It's true.
To your 20th anniversary of the release, put out a remastered version.
Oh god, there's another 793 question right afterwards. As of episode 793, which of the following games does Jon Lindemann owns? This is definitely a multi-selection.
Oh boy.
The Elder Scrolls Skyrim for Steam. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim Special Edition for Steam. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim Anniversary Edition.
This is an assault. This is an assault upon my character.
Clearly. Before you even finish, James, if the answer to this isn't all of them, I will be incredibly disappointed.
Well, no, because remember, this is you can pick multiple letters as being accurate.
But that's the point. Right, this is going to be the time that it is all of them.
Oh, okay. The Elder Scrolls. All right, let me get D out. Because it could be something else. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim's Game of the Year edition for Steam.
I don't know if all these are even real. Like, I don't know my Steam editions.
Don't care, all of them.
I would not be surprised if I own all of those. Definitely. You could. The only quibble might be on Steam, in particular.
I'm just gonna say special edition. I'm not gonna say any of the other ones. Because this is as of like 2022 as well.
Sometimes you gotta go down swinging, James, even if that makes absolutely no sense.
All
even
right,
if walking in a run would win the game, you go down swinging all of them.
I'm going with A, B, and C. I don't know why.
C. All right, sure. The answer is A and B. Who knows what other platforms he has it on? Question mark.
Like, I mean, Skyrim I have on every platform, pretty much. Every platform, because it's so cheap, right? So
yeah, pretty much. All right.
I think the only platform I don't have it on is, I don't think I have it on Switch. That's the only thing I don't have it on. So
I'm gonna put negative ticks in. We can decide if we want to count them later. All right. What? All right. Are we out of? We're out of the 793 hellscape. Which of these Pokemon games does Jon Lindemann own? Pokemon Black, Pokemon White, Pokemon Black 2, Pokemon White 2. Oh God, I remember him buying it. I remember him fucking going and buying it before PAX. I just can't remember which one it was.
I don't.
I have a 50-50.
I don't think I have Pokemon Black or White 2. I don't think. I think I have Pokemon. I think I have Pokemon White. I believe I have.
Okay.
That's my guess.
My answer was I'm pretty confident you bought Black before PAX because that was the one that had like the Proto Street Pass.
Yeah, that is entirely possible. My memory is horrible.
But again, like I said, I know. I'm very confident it's one of those two. I just can't remember which one you bought. So I'm just playing the odds on this one.
I'm gonna go with White.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think because the Black and White 2 were the ones that were like when 3DS was already out. Is that,
yeah.
So I think that's too late for that anecdote. I want to say so. Yeah, it's just whether it's black or white.
I'm gonna laugh so hard if we get in there and it's like all of the above or some bullshit.
Yeah. I went too early with that. Gonna go with black.
All right, so I went with black. John, what was your guess?
White.
Okay. Answer is scrolling. A, Black, and D, White 2. Quote, John didn't know when or where he got White 2, but one episode he said he found it in a box of loose carts. Black was the PAX peer pressure purchase.
Yeah, right, yeah. So that's the one I was trying to remember, but yeah, obviously, the other one just was...
I think I'm probably confusing it with White 2 then. So.
Yes, because that was the...
That'll teach me to follow your lead, John.
There we go.
Answers about your life.
Yeah. I'm not saying this mind is not a steel trap at all.
Not counting negatives right now. Greg and I are tied for first. John is now in last place. If we count negatives, John currently has a negative score about how he knows about himself.
Wow.
He currently has a -1 score.
Man, I try to forget all this stuff. I really do.
Which is really going to make me want to count negatives. I'm being honest. John right now has a -1 score on how well does Jon Lindemann know Jon Lindemann.
I try really hard to forget it all.
Really not making a compelling case for me to drop the negative scoring. All right. Episode 587.
Mm-hmm.
John rediscovered his childhood gaming stuff. What hardware did he find in storage?
587. Okay.
587. That's a long time ago.
Yep.
TG16. B. C64. C. Which is going to be very confusing. A 2400 baud Game Boy Color modem. Or D. The Atari 2600.
I go with A.
I'm going to go with B. Because I know John had a Commodore. I don't think he ever had a TG16.
Oh. Okay. Whoops.
I mean, Game Boy Color.
Do I only choose one?
What's that going to do?
I mean, there's no rule here that says it can't have been more than one, but you do play a risk if you start picking extras.
I would say probably for that time, I would have had it in storage. Probably TG16.
Oh, I didn't realize you had one. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Other than the Walter
Still
White
do.
Scrooge McDuck like bales of cash in the storage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the modem, I don't even know. That was for Crystal. I don't even know if that came out here. Greg, did you have an answer?
I'd have to go B. The Commodore thing is the only kind of strand I've got to pull on with my memory. It doesn't mean it's right by any means, because that was bloody long time ago.
What? A, TG16. B, Commodore 64. C, the 2400 baud Game Boy Color modem. Why the fuck did you have that?
Wow.
The argument for picking that is the oddly specific argument, isn't it? Right? Yeah. Like, it's like, okay, that is that something you come up with as a filler option? Maybe not.
What the fuck? I didn't even know that came out here.
A 2400 baud Game Boy modem?
GBC modem is what it says. Oh, maybe GBC is something else. I don't know. Maybe
GVC.
Maybe
I hope so, because it's just,
no, it's not. It's a GVC modem. The brand is GVC. It's a 2400 baud GVC modem.
Oh, GVC. Okay, he typed
GVC.
B.
Yeah.
I don't wish to be insensitive, but GBC seems somewhat outside of John's childhood.
It's true. You're not wrong.
This is very true. Yeah, it's the GVC modem. Yes, that's still sitting in storage that I used with my Commodore 64.
It would have to be the Commodore 2400 baud. Yeah. All right. So everybody gets a point.
Yeah, 2400 baud. Yeah, that probably would have been. That probably would have been with the 64. Yeah.
Everybody gets a point, and on that, John, congratulations on returning to 0. You did it, buddy.
Nice.
Now Jesus. Now, Notepad isn't letting me put scores in. There we go. All right. Are we at the end of this section? No. One more question in this section. According to the PAX East 2010 Drunk Cast, what is the rarest game John opens? According to the PAX East 2010 Drunk Cast, what is the rarest game John opens? A, Boxed Earthbound. B, Xenogears. C, Twilight Princess trailer DS cartridge. D, Clay Fighters 63 and a third. I guess this was a hypothetical. Like, what is the rarest one you would open?
This would have to be Xenogears.
Okay.
Definitely. Xenogears.
The problem is, all I bloody remember about that is the thing about falling off the bed. It just poisons everything else.
I'm actually sticking with Earthbound on this one,
Greg.
Well, I'm not saying it's true. It just poisons everything else. That's the problem.
Because, I'm trying to think of, how would we have gotten to this conversation with 97 people in that hotel room? And I think, I want to say Earthbound was the vector to that conversation. I want to say that's how we got there. But I can't remember. I can't remember how we ended up on this topic besides the fact there were 90 people in that room. And I think somebody was trying to play something on the Wii at the time. And I just wanted to go lie down. It was too much. It was too much. Also, we had one microphone for 800 people. I don't recommend listening to that episode.
Was that when Obi was setting stuff on fire?
Yeah. And I got mad at him. And he's like, it smells good.
Yeah.
Brother, there's fire alarm in this hotel room to detect people who are smoking. All right, so you're going with Xenogears. I'm gonna go with Earthbound. I assume this must have just been a hypothetical. What is the rarest thing you would open if you had it?
I don't remember really the episode, so
I don't either because I was drinking, so that's fine.
Yeah, and apparently half of what was audible on it was not true, according to John. Anyway,
right.
So what can we believe? It was all some sort of peculiar radio drama. It's fictional.
Against my better judgment, I'm going to go with John Xenogears.
I think. I'll go with Earthbound on this one.
Okay. Like, I feel like the DS cartridge, I don't think it came with a box. And Clay Fighter 63 and a third, there's no way any of us would have even mentioned that fucking game.
Yeah, I guess that's the gag option here, probably. I don't know.
That Dreamcast was fairly tame, too. Yeah, I mean, because you couldn't hear anybody. That's the problem. All right. We are now sitting in, all right. We are at the end of the section. We're going to do one bonus question called the Guillaume bonus section.
Oh.
As a brief interlude, here's a question about our glorious RFN editor.
Sure.
What film did Guillaume say awakened him to the fact that Donald Sutherland was a sexual being?
Oh.
A, Don't Look Now, B, Clute, C, Fellini's Casanova, or D, Steelyard Blues. You seem to know the answer, so you can go last. I have no idea. I'm just going to say it's Don't Look Now.
I believe it's Clute.
Say that one more time.
Don't Look Now?
No,
Clute?
just give me the...
What movie did awoken Guillaume to the fact that Donald Sutherland was a sexual being?
Oh, okay.
And just for scoring's sake, because we're going to do a scoring check, if you only pick one question or one answer and get it wrong, I'm not marking any ding. It's only if you decide to go beyond one question.
And what are the answers again?
Don't Look Now, Clute, Fellini's Casanova, Steelyard Blues.
I believe it's Fellini's Casanova, I think.
Ooh. All right, we got two Clutes, a Don't Look Now, and Fellini's Casanova.
How do you know we've got two Clutes?
I didn't
sorry.
Say anything. I think someone said Clute twice, and I got distracted. All right, what is the answer, Guillaume?
Yeah, it's Greg is right. It's
okay.
Clute.
So we got two
Yeah,
Clutes.
it could be Don't Look Now, because there's a very famous candid love scene with Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie in that film.
That was what I was thinking of. All right,
yeah, I think I brought that up then as well, because I'm a machine.
All right, there we go.
Respect a fucking drawstring doll.
The answer is B, quote, he had such lovely eyes. All right, here's our score check. I have...
As seen in this very sensual turn at the end of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Mm-hmm.
I have 8 with no negatives right now. Again, if you get it wrong, I'm not counting. If you get 2, if you add an extra 1, then I'm sorry to count the negatives. Guillaume has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 X's and 3. Those are 7 like actual points, and then right now we have 3 of the. I don't know if we're going to count negations or not. Like we kind of have to do something if you were to go all the way in. What? Yes.
I kept track, and I feel like I've got 8 right and 1 wrong. Like on question 6, I went over. I said ABC. It was just AB. But I got questions 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Well, partially 8, and
well, if you got partially, I would have hit a negative on it too. That's what I'm.
But that's the thing.
You already counted for that.
I gave ABC, and I got C. That was too much. I still get 1 point for that question, but just a 1, not 2.
We're gonna have somebody go back and score for us afterwards. Then. I gave Greg a Z for some reason on one of these. That's very fun for me. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I went all out. I went there swinging jokes. That's what you do when you believe in something. When you believe that John has every version of Skyrim, even ones that would overlap or be entirely redundant or don't exist. You gotta have conviction about something.
All right, so I have Greg with +9 and then three negations. I have John with +5 and 5 negations. This is amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to round 3 now, which is actually round 2, despite the fact it's the 3rd round, called Jon Lindemann, star of screen and stage. Question. I have to put this out there because I don't necessarily agree with what's about to be said. Jon Lindemann has a lovely voice. What song/songs has he sung on the podcast? The Zelda rap from the Legend of Zelda US TV commercial, the ukulele rap from the ukulele marketing campaign, Gotta Catch 'Em All from the Pokemon anime, or the DK rap from Donkey Kong 64. We know D. We all know that he did D.
Yeah.
Did he
But I
do
think
any
maybe he did C as well.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I'd have to say
vague
so.
recollection there.
The ukulele? No way. What?
There's no way. I didn't know
No
ukulele had a fucking rap.
No, it
No.
may not. That might be the
That's
joke.
true.
It's just because it's
Yeah.
the DK connection, like. But unless it did, and I just
John?
missed it. But
Give me those song titles again. One more time.
Zelda rap from the Legend of
Okay.
Zelda US TV commercial. Ukulele rap from the ukulele marketing campaign.
Mhm.
Gotta Catch 'Em All from the Pokemon anime. And the DK rap from Donkey Kong 64. I just have this vague recollection.
I think the only one I've done is the DK rap.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
Well,
I've done
let's-
any of those other ones. I mean, the
Let's-
only
Yeah.
other one I've done. I mean, Johnny and I did
the regulators.
Regulate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit, John's right. It's just D. So
Yeah,
we all
just
got
the
D,
DK
and then
rap.
everybody gets dings except for John.
Wow.
I get my first.
Dang.
To get my
Oh,
first ding. I'm
finally,
very-
for some
very
sort
sad
of
about it.
logic.
Wow, everyone sounds so relieved. Finally, Jesus. John
Gravity
actually gets something
exists.
right about his own appearances on this podcast. Jesus.
John's now firmly back in the positives in that one.
Nice.
No, actually, you're plus 2 now because you got 2 up for that. 2 answers for that. Good job.
Okay.
All right. All right. So we may have just fucked up this question. John has a lovely voice. What songs has he sung on the podcast? A, Must Be the Money by Deion Sanders. B, Regulate by Warren G. C, What's My Name by Snoop Dogg. And D, Let It Ride by Dr. Dre. All right. So we all know that he did Regulate.
Yeah, yeah.
I
mean, the Dion one, again, I want it to be true, but I don't
So I
have a
actually
specific
know at least one other answer to this. I'm fairly confident.
Yeah,
I've
I
never
can
done-
only go with regulate.
Yeah, Regulate is the only one that I recall.
I
Deion Sanders, I've never done.
I strongly disagree. I know for a fact you've done Deion Sanders Must Be the Money.
No way. No
I
way.
know for a fact you have done it because I remember it.
I don't think so.
Because we were talking about Deion's rap career.
Of course we were. But for me to desecrate that sacred art
You can't
with my own
desecrate that
rendition?
song.
No way, man. No way. No way.
Guillaume, who's right?
Just B. I don't know.
Who knows Jon Lindemann better, me or John? Let's go to the answers. B, featuring Dr. Metz. He promised an audio rendition of A, but it's been 8 years and nada. You son of a bitch.
Wow.
You son of
I
a
didn't
bitch. Get on
realize
it
that
right
would be-
now. Get on
Man.
it right fucking now.
I mean, I haven't listened to. I do not own a copy of It Must Be the Money. I can assure you. But now I feel I didn't realize that I made a promise like that.
You made a fucking. I want it on my desk right this instant.
Hmm.
All right,
Well,
episode. Go ahead.
Shockingly enough, I do not know that song well enough. I've not listened to it enough times to know any of the words to it.
Wow.
I know that's shocking.
I can hear it, but I can't. I couldn't tell you the lyrics. Because it's bad, but the
It's
problem
a bad
is
song.
it's the video that sticks with me.
Mhm.
I know there's a line where it's like whatever since I signed on the dotted line or some bullshit. The video is amazing though. Like honestly, it's terrible, but it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, episode 510. Which I think is how we got on it. Episode 510. The stinger was an email sent by a listener detailing Jon Lindemann in a parody of A Christmas Carol learning about the meaning of Switchmas. What the fuck?
What on earth? Man, what a checkered history I have on this podcast.
This one isn't even you. This is an email. This is somebody sent us. All right. What is the ghost of Switchmas past? Show John. Jesus Christ.
The
I made a
Ghosts of
mistake.
Switchmas Pass.
I should have previewed this before we did it.
The Ghost of Switch Miss Pass. What did he show me?
A younger Jon Lindemann playing the Master System and insisting that Psycho Fox is just as good as Super Mario Brothers. B, Jon declaring that Zillion is the best Master System game. C, a slightly younger Jon refusing to play Chrono Trigger. And D, Jon Lindemann walking past an abandoned Vectrix peeking out of a garbage can and snoodily avoiding it.
It has to be C. It has to be C.
It does have to be C, I agree.
What was it? But a younger Jon, like that would not be before the Master System. Anyway, maybe I'm thinking too much about it. What was D? Sorry, I missed.
D, a young Jon Lindemann walking past an abandoned Vectrix peeking out of a garbage can and snoodily avoiding it.
A Vectrix.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going with... Sorry, what was B?
Zillion. Jon declaring Zillion the best Master System game.
Sure.
That's not far-fetched.
I'm going there.
We have talked about Zillion in the past, which is an insane phrase.
As the Master System was I think it was probably the second game console I ever bought. I think
it is insane that we have talked about Zillion on this show.
Yeah, yes, it's really not that good a game. But
I know we have, and has no bearing on anything that we cover. But I know for a fact Zillion has been a topic of conversation.
It's kind of a prototypical Metroid, isn't it?
It's something. Craig, do you have an answer?
Oh, no, I'd be right. I mean, like, the Chrono Trigger was the obvious one, but that's the thing. I just, I feel like it's a trap. But
I'm gonna go look at the answer.
I don't know where else to go if it is indeed a trap. That's the problem.
Okay.
So, I'll just go with D, the Vectrex one.
All right. So I just looked. The answer is A. Younger Jon Lindemann playing the Master System Psycho Fox is just as good as Mario.
What?
A, the second option was Jon chiming in at the tell time. What the fuck? All right. What is the true meaning of Switch Miss? A, the conduit is the answer to all life's troubles. B, digital backlogs cannot crush you to death. C, the Nintendo 3DS D-pad is not that bad. And D, Jon still owes us his Band Hero review.
Man. There's at least two of those that are pretty legit.
I'm going to go with digital backlogs.
Digital backlogs, yeah.
Yeah, it was also... Yeah. But also maybe D?
Oh.
So I'm going
I'm not confident enough to do anything other than that.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with just B. Jon?
What was C?
The Nintendo 3DS D-pad is not that bad.
I'm going to go with C.
Really? You're the one who rants about the thing.
I'm going to go...
Well, maybe someone exaggerated his position.
Let's
get it straight.
That's the joke.
The answer is B, with the note that I apparently had scorn for the listeners.
All right.
Wow.
Well, yeah, that's a shock.
Yeah, well, they should stop being wrong, and it wouldn't be a problem. All right, so I'm not going to deduct points for anybody on that one because nobody went with the double, but Greg and I both get a point.
I did.
Guillaume got a B for sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. There we go. Let me move these around. There we go. Yes. Great. Done. All right. What is the true meaning? Oh, we did that one. How many times did Jon say the word Joanna as Carrington in the Perfect Dark radio play episode 248? 1, 3, 6, or 12? Fuck it. All in 12.
I don't know. The problem is how many of these actually count as the part of the radio play, because the point is like after the radio play kind of concluded, it was just like the shorthand for like just referencing Carrington.
Yeah.
I think like Joanna. That was.
I think maybe the answer is 1.
Yeah, so maybe he's counting on the fact that we remember him saying it a lot and then overestimate, when in fact in the actual recreation of the scene from the first mission of Perfect Dark, he refers to her as Perfect Dark. I can't remember, he says like, good luck, Perfect Dark, or whatever, does he even say Joanna in that? But what were the options again?
1, 3, 6, 12.
Yeah, maybe it's just one, but
All right.
I'll go with 3. I'll go with 3.
All right. The answer is just the once, but boy did it land. It is A. Congratulations. All right. So I'm gonna take us to the end.
That's all you get.
This is this goes on.
I actually had to, do vocal. Joanna Dark is, shall we say, outside of my vocal range, and all anybody bloody remembers is him going, Joanna. Just no justice, no fucking justice in the world.
All right, so I'm gonna stop us at the end of this segment because this is the last question. There's 3 more segments, and this is a disaster. All right, why? Oh my God. I just read the question, Jesus Christ. Why did Jon read an entire email as Mickey Mouse in episode 787? A.
Man, what? I don't even remember doing this.
I do now that it's in here, yes.
Okay.
A. In the break of a U.S. TV broadcast rights for football were discussed, disparaging ABC. B. The previous email asked about Xenoblade 2 and the Nomura character designs. C. It followed a nerdy, in-depth discussion of Kingdom Hearts monarchy structure.
Yeah.
Or D. Before the email started, the crew decided to debate Tolkien lore.
This has to be C. There has to be. There's some stupid Kingdom Hearts tie-in with that. It's the only explanation I can think of.
I don't think so.
I think it's both. I think it's C and D. I think they got swirled together, and that was how we got here.
No, what was B again? Sorry.
Previous email asked to blade Xenoblade 2 and the Nomura character designs, which would Nomura obviously being the designer and the driver of Kingdom Hearts. That would be how we get
sorry.
Yeah, the Torna characters.
During a break in US TV broadcast rights for football was discussed, disparaging ABC. I think
firmly believe D as part of it.
Yeah, I actually think it's A and D. I mean, sorry, C and D. I think I remember this dumbass conversation.
Yeah.
And this is right around the time I was trying to read the...
Unless this is the sinister... It's actually all of them one, but it's a big gamble to take.
That would be fucking amazing if it was all of these.
This is also around the time I was... It could have been because ABC had just poached Joe Buck, and then we were like, oh, fuck hell, gee.
But this is right around the time I was trying to read Children of Hyrule, so we definitely would have been talking about it during the break, because I was banging my head against the wall trying to read that fucking book and not be depressed. During the pandemic. Because fucking choices.
Actually, I'm just going with D.
All right.
Yeah, I'll go with D.
I feel like I remember this fucking conversation. All right, let's go. Scrolling. C and D, Jon's Mickey wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I remember this fucking conversation, and that's upsetting.
Yeah. I'd have to brush up on my Mickey. I'd have to hear Mickey to do them again, but
everybody gets one. I get two.
Hey,
because
James! It will be something
my brain
around,
is fucking ruined.
Something around there.
All right, so Jon is in the positives now, which is great. He's still tremendously in last place.
Yeah, that's none of this surprises me.
Based on my scoring, I have a very slim lead over Greg and Guillaume. But, Jon is well beyond the rest of us.
I've tried to forget it all, James. It doesn't...
I can tell. It's been successful.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're actually in the ballpark of, guessing. This goes back to the quarterback would have had a better QBR if he just spiked the ball every play. You're not quite there, but when you were in the negatives, you were. All right, well, we're going to stop here. That's enough of this. There's more of this email. We might pick it up in the future. There is a segment there is a section as I was scrolling through to see how much longer this is called Jon Lindemann, the host. And the very first question is about NWR chat. The second question is about NWR chat. The third question is about NWR chat. And then there's a question that says, what episodes has Jon hosted?
If the first question is, what did Jon think the podcast was called?
No.
I quit.
It asks what music was in the transition in the middle. I know the answer to that one because I listened to that episode on a plane flying over the Pacific, wanting the plane to fall into the Pacific.
You know, it took me a while to polish my delivery, okay? You know, I have to admit, I was not as good at this back then as I am now.
That's good.
You know, it's I feel like I think I've made strides.
I don't want to alarm you, Jon, but you're reminding me when Schwarzenegger was apologising for his bad behaviour when he was running for governor at the minute. I realise in the past I've behaved badly, and for that I apologise. It's just so sincere. No wonder they elected him.
Oh my god.
Oh man. Yeah.
This brings us to the end, well not really because it took a long time, of the second annual Jon Lindemann lore quiz. I hope Jon takes this in the spirit of love and respect and admiration that it was authored in. I don't believe any of that sentence. The lawyers put that sentence in.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Well, we're gonna take it here. So, emails go to rfn@nintendoworldreport.com. This is your reminder that Soul Calibur 2 is the game. Start playing it because we're gonna do this one quick. Greg, can you give us some music so we can go home?
Yeah, sure. So, of course, it will be just a few days after this goes out. Metroid Prime 4 is finally releasing. You know, what is it? Over 8 years after it was announced. Over 18 years since Metroid Prime 3 first came out. And, you know, to put that into perspective, isn't it? It's just like that was in August of 07 in the US and actually 2 months later in Europe. And that was before that freeloader thing that helped make the Smash delay more tolerable. Yes. I did actually just wait for Metroid Prime 3 to come out in Europe those 2 months. But I was months away from making my first appearance on the show. I'd only just joined the staff of Nintendo World Report when Metroid Prime 3 was coming out. And it's before Super Mario Galaxy came out. So when, that time, there were like 2 3D Marios and one of them was Super Mario Sunshine.
God.
And there was one new Super Mario Brothers. We hadn't even had new Super Mario Wii yet.
My God.
It's just so ancient. It's crazy. And then when you think about the world events, it was before, like, you know, the financial crisis and all that kind of thing. It's just like, it was a different world. It was a different world. But, you know, finally, Prime 4 is coming, but we thought we'll have something from the Prime 3 soundtrack to close us out, to put us back in that mindset. And the song I'm going for, Rundas Boss Battle. Mainly I'm picking this because it's you know, you go back and listen to the soundtrack and there's lots of good stuff in there, but this I think just has a bit more impact, bit more memorable as a boss battle theme than most. You know, I think it's something that I think it might trigger more memories among people going back to that soundtrack for the first time in a long time. Pretty cool song, but also as a reminder that the last time that the Samus dealt with some kind of, you know, PAL type characters at the very beginning, you spent quite a significant part of the rest of the game hunting them down and mercy killing them. So look forward to that, maybe.
Oh God. All right. Well, on that, it's time for me to go practice my sock puppetry. Bye, everybody.
Later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.